Is there any recollection for you of starting to have more of like, quote unquote, the spiritual gifts in the waking state, or does that not come for you till much later?
To answer your question, I think it's a combination of both. I think for me as a 5-year-old, you don't really know, you can't define, spiritualism,
right,
you're learning the ways of the world, right? It wasn't until years later that I reflected back through hypnotherapy and biofeedback, two very important parts of transformation and healing and honoring your grief and the things that you go through. And when I first went through biofeedback, I remembered back to that 5-year-old child, and same with hypnotherapy. And what was interesting about that is I was 5 years old when Star Wars came out, 1977. And if you look behind me, there's a poster. That's the original Star Wars poster from the movie theaters. I have all 3 of them. And I think for me, that curiosity of locking into the Force, right? I know it's a movie, it's Hollywood, but there's a reason that it generates billions of dollars almost, 45 years later, because people resonate with the living force, the force that binds us and connects us. I'm throwing a Star Wars plug in here. But from that time on, I'd always been fascinated. I went to Star Wars in the movie theater 23 times with my relatives and my friends, because I was just fascinated with the concept of in a galaxy far, far away. And I think that is directly related to my first experience, not knowing it was spiritual. But if you look at if you go deeper with even just the writings of Star Wars, it's very, very spiritual concepts.
Oh, yeah, right.
Meditations put into a Hollywood movie, but the concepts go back thousands of years that George Lucas was very brilliant and made a lot of money off of. So I think that was my first experience of really realizing the spiritual. But as most children do, we tuck that away based on our learning environment, our peers, our education system. And so I think a lot of the abilities that I had early on as a child were actually, laid dormant.